Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Fashion History Friday, where we're going to talk about this stunning dress from 1882. My name is Jess. I'm a costume designer and fashion historian, and today I want to talk about this beautiful evening gown from the House of Worth. If you're a Pinterest girly, I guarantee that you probably have this dress on some Pinterest board. To me, this dress along with this dress are the two most iconic gowns designed by Charles Worth. But who is Charles Worth and why are his designs so important? I mean, beyond being aesthetically pleasing. So, according to the Met Museum, Charles Worth was an Englishman who spent most of his young adult life working for textile merchants in London. And while he was in London, he developed a healthy appetite and passion for art history. This was around the 1830s, 1840s. Then in 1845, Charles Worth moved to Paris. And it was in Paris where he worked for a textile firm named Gaglin. And he ended up opening a dressmaker shop in conjunction with the textile firm. It was there that he met a gentleman named Otto Boberg, who ended up becoming his business partner. And in 1858, they opened up their own dressmaker shop called Worth and Boberg. Quite quickly, they became very famous. And they were soon being worn and recognized by royalty. When you dress a queen, you are literally solid for the rest of your career. I mean, in looking at his gowns, you can understand why royalty gravitated towards his designs. Then in 1870, Charles Worth became the sole proprietor of his company. And at his shop, what Charles Worth did that was very different than most dressmakers and tailors at the time was that he would make a full ensemble and then he would have a model wear it for his clients. Then the clients would pick what they liked and they would modify what they wanted and they would get things made to their size. And this is the beginning of haute couture. So when someone asks what makes Charles James and the House of Worth so important in fashion history, you can reply and say, well, he is the father of haute couture. Before this, it was common for young, wealthy women to purchase their clothes from fashion magazines, fashion sketches, and unfortunately through what designers called Pandora dolls, which were very popular in the mid-1700s, but these dolls were basically advertisements for costumes and clothing that you could purchase from a modiste. They showed basically how you would make a garment, but in doll form. or as some designers use now, which is a quarter scale dress form. So what I love personally about Charles Worth is that he not only is a fashion designer, but he also did a lot of fancy dress or costume design. This one specifically is basically for Alice Vanderbilt, and it exemplifies the spirit of electricity, which you have to remember at the time, the 1880s was a huge time for lucrative business, especially in the United States. A lot of wealthy millionaires, and electricity was like the hot new thing. What a fabulous, fabulous costume. Is this not just amazing? But the thing that is distinct about Charles Worth is that he designed gowns that were works of art. And he implements a perfect play of color and texture, textiles and trim. Going back to this dress, this perfectly exemplifies exactly how much trim he utilizes. This sheer volume of textiles really showcases his respect and love for the textile industry. Sometimes you really have to look in deeper to see all of the finer details that make up the gown itself. Worth's creative output maintained stability throughout his life, and then his sons and his grandsons and his great-grandsons took on the business, and they kept it live and active until about the mid-part of the 20th century, when the final great-grandson, decided to retire from the business. So to celebrate this glory of a dress, I am going to remake it. My plan is to make something similar to it, to utilize this as an example, as inspiration, and as something that I can work towards. I will be making this dress for the MetbyMoonlight Time Travelers Ball because I just think it's such a beautiful gown. And the Time Traveler Ball is basically all about like really any character, any time period, anyone from history. And I think like what better way to celebrate fashion history than to design or redesign a gown that was created by the king of couture himself. This dress is set in 1882, made in 1882. I am actually going to push it a few years later to 1885. I have found a couple of patterns and I've started making my undergarments for this, so I will be posting about that in later videos, but I will also be doing deep dives both into how I'm making this, what patterns I'm choosing, all of that kind of stuff. More history on the House of Worth on my Patreon as well. So if you're interested in following along and going in on a deep dive, check out the Patreon, but I will be posting here and across social media as well. I'm so excited for this ball and I'm excited to make this dress with you guys. What do you think? Do you think I can do it? The ball's on the 23rd. And if you want to go and you're in Atlanta, like I highly recommend checking it out, and I'll put like a little link in the bio. Tickets are still available, so yeah.